Well, we've got two pretty big pieces of Stranger Things news. One, a real-life situation. One, a new spinoff of sorts.
Okay.
Going to want to hear about this coming up in just a few. Glad to have you back. Let's go. First, most important thing, my house is peaceful. All is well at the Randall household. An Easter basket was sent to Katie.
Now, if Katie didn't get an Easter basket, she really would have been mad.
I believe she would have burned our house down.
And she gets the Easter basket from
her dad and stepmom.
Okay.
And, you know, I don't know how to talk about it. It's so funny to me that she wants this, she expects this. And in fairness to her, they have set a precedent all these years that they would send something. And hey, don't get me wrong. I got a sweet tooth. I love that they send some candy and stuff. It's fun.
But I mean, let's be honest. Katie's in her mid to late 20s and still getting an Easter basket is ridiculous.
I made fun of her. I make fun of her every year. My thing isn't so much that she, you know, I'm going to get an Easter, but that she expects it and she gets upset. Now it was late.
Ooh.
So there was a bit, but luckily Brenda checked in and said, I just want you to know it's on its way.
Okay, no repercussions.
No repercussions. Everything's going to be fine. So, whew.
Okay.
And now
we didn't do that for Lily, and she's 13.
I mean, I stopped giving my kids that kind of stuff once they were out of the house. If you're still living with me and you're 20, I'll make you an Easter basket if you want one. But once you're out of my house, that's not my problem anymore.
Okay.
So, and see, I'm smart. I didn't set that precedent because once you start it, you got to keep it up or you end up in this situation. On from that holiday to the next holiday, and it's everybody's favorite, Tax Day. Just a few days away from our deadline. How exciting.
So much fun.
Yeah. This is something, it's one of those things where, you know, it has to happen and blah, 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 blah. We have a guy who's been doing our taxes for, 25
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
years.
And he won us over pretty early on because he loves not breaking the law, but making sure he works right up to the line.
It's that great line from The Firm.
You think I'm talking about breaking the law?
No, I'm just trying to figure out how far you want it bent.
As far as you can without breaking it.
Just saying. But he's great because he is a specialty CPA. He only works with people in radio and television.
Yes.
Because we have, a different set of things that we can write off or whatever than regular people. I'm not sure. It's a weird way to say it, regular people. But anyway.
Well, we're not regular, I'll tell you that.
True. We saw him at this convention years ago, and it was a very poorly attended seminar because if you're at a big convention like this, people want to go to the fun stuff. And and it was like, taxes. And we showed up, and we watched him speak, and we were like,
Changed our life.
And it changed. I mean, not only did he start doing our taxes from that point, he said, let me see last year's returns. And we showed him. He was like, don't ever let H&R Block do your returns again.
That's a good impression of him.
He sounds kind of like the comic book guy from The Simpsons. He actually put in an amended return for the previous year that he had not done and got his money back from that year. So he's just fantastic. And this is not this is a plug for a friend. I mean, the guy's been working with us forever. And
I guess that was a long way to go. We're sorry it's tax season.
Yeah. Hopefully your taxes worked out great. Ours technically haven't been filed yet. So I'm hoping to hear from him in the next few days.
Yeah, we hope.
It'd be nice to know what's going on. But we wish you well. Remember, depending on what your situation, make sure if you're doing your own taxes or if you use like TurboTax, look up information because there are a lot of things out there you might not realize that you could write off, and every dollar counts.
Yep.
We were just reading up the other day that like if you have a disability and you have a guide dog or a service dog, you can write off everything related to that dog on your taxes if you didn't already know that.
I have a friend in Nashville and I don't know these numbers, so if you're with the IRS, don't hold me to it. But he has, I don't know, 5, 10 chickens, something like that, and he has, a little coop and a fence around it or whatever, but he had to get a bigger coop by like 5 feet because now he can write it off as a farm.
Wow.
And gets agricultural benefits.
Hey, if there are look, nobody likes paying taxes. If they're offering opportunities to limit some of that stuff, why wouldn't you take full advantage of it? So get out there, make sure you find reputable information.
Yes.
And then, you don't want to take a chance. It's not one of those, IRS is funny. They're not this madcap ne'er-do-well, hey, we're cool with it, it's fine. They're not known for their sense of humor. So
yeah, that's true.
Make sure you're squared away before you get going. So what are we watching right now? There's some good content out there. You actually went to see a movie at the movie theater the other day.
And immediately reminded why we don't go to the movie that much.
Okay.
Saw Air. which is a breezy, fun, nostalgic movie. You don't have to know basketball or care about basketball to enjoy the movie.
It's just basically how they started Air Jordans, right?
Yeah, and it's basically more of a marketing movie, you know, how they marketed and how they fought to get it and how things were done at the time. Michael Jordan was instrumental in getting Viola Davis to play his mother, and they kind of rewrote the story because he was like, my mother's not in this enough. My mother had more to do with this than you think.
Oh, that's cool. I love that.
And they did just a great job with it. But in true movie theater fashion, the lady at the end of our aisle wanted to call play-by-play for everything. When funny moments, and there's quite a few, happen, she would like to repeat what just happened for everybody to hear. And at one point, Ben Affleck, who's the president of the company, is like fidgeting. He's nervous because they're waiting on an answer, and he's wiggling, and she just, he's wiggling. Do you see him wiggling? He's just wiggling. He can't stay still. And it's just, you just want to go, I didn't come to hear you tell me what's going on the screen. I can watch it.
If you're one of these people, I'm not saying don't enjoy movies, but stop going to movies and ruining it for people.
People don't know they're those people. That's why it's important. If you know someone, if someone you love, someone you care about is one of those people that likes to talk during movies or likes to let people know how smart they are by going, that's the guy that was also in Batman Begins. You know, like you're going to impress people. You've got to tell them and say, look, nobody wants to hear that.
Well, like everything else in this country, in the U.S. anyway, I'm not sure how it is worldwide, but ruder and ruder as years go by, less care for other people and their comfort around them. It's just like people just don't give a damn anymore.
Well, we talked about this on the show one time, and I remember a lady called in and goes, I paid for my ticket. I'll do what I want to do. And I'm like, well, if I'm sitting next to you, I paid for my ticket.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear what you said. You can't tell me what to do because I paid for my ticket.
And by the way, that's not how it works. You know, it's like people feel that way on an airplane, apparently. I bought my ticket. I'll do what I want. No, there are absolute strict rules you must follow. And if you're not willing to follow those simple rules, don't fly. If you're not willing to follow the simple social rules of going to see a movie, don't go see movies. Just think about that for a minute. Quit being such jerks.
Yeah, it's my right to be a jerk on this flight.
It's so easy to just sit in a theater and enjoy a movie for a while and not talk and be on your phone for a little bit.
And you brought up the point about planes. Something's gone on in the past 3 or 4 years. Is it just me, or does it seem like it's just got crazier on planes? Maybe it's because of social media makes more people see about it, but it just seems like the number of people that are losing it on planes has gone up.
Well, that and a lot of the other things going on in society, I think, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I think stupid people have just gotten some guts. They've decided, you know what? I'm going to be proud and stupid. I'm doing this. I'm living my life the way I want. And they just decided they've been emboldened to start acting however they want.
Well, stupid people, stand down.
Yeah.
Stand by.
Go back. Go back under the rock. Stop being that way. Remember that we are still living in a society, and we should still be kind to each other and still care how we act around people and treat people. So anyway, not to get off on a whole tangent, what else are we watching? We watched a couple of movies at home, both new movies, but I guess, you know, straight to streaming. One is called The Old Way, and it's been out for a little while now, but it's a Western, and it's got Nicolas Cage as the star. And there's some other familiar faces, too. Nick Piercy, who was on Justified. He's Raylan's boss on Justified.
Yes.
Nick Searcy, that's it, yeah. And other people. But anyway, actually a fairly solid Western.
Okay.
It's not bad at all. We had really enjoyed it. Nick Cage was not over the top crazy. He was settled into a good role. It reminded me of Unforgiven, like a lot of Westerns would. Not nearly that good. But when it was over, I was like, okay,
had that vibe.
Yeah. And his daughter was very much like the girl from True Grit.
Okay.
Really smart and tough, and it's good movie if you like Westerns. And then the other one I really enjoyed. Katie had to convince me to watch it because I was like, I don't know, man. But it's called A Little White Lie. Don't love the title of the movie, but it's got some great people. Michael Shannon, one of the great actors of today, is the star. Kate Hudson's in it. Don Johnson is in it.
Oh, wow.
He's great. He's actually really good in it. And it's I'll say a case of mistaken identity with an author that has kind of gone into hiding. And they mistake Michael Shannon for this author, and hilarity ensues.
Oh, so it's a comedy.
Some comedy, but it's also got some heavy stuff. It's a dramedy, I guess would be what you'd call it. But I thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was a lot of fun. Streaming-wise, we just watched the first episode, and it's the big show on Netflix right now, Beef.
Okay.
Ali Wong, the comedian, is in it, and I can't remember the young man's name, but it'll pop up here. The dude from Nope and Walking Dead.
Yes.
And it's road rage that happens between these two. And clearly the story is going to go somewhere big. I don't know where it's going to go yet, but the first episode was very good, very interesting, and I can't wait to see what happens next.
Okay.
So if you're looking for some new content, it's out there. And then we'll talk about it, even though we don't want to give away anything, because there may still be people who don't know.
Spoiler alert, just in case.
If you're watching Succession, how about that last episode?
Wow.
I couldn't believe it.
I love creative types. And again, I'm going to try not to give anything away here, but I read a fantastic article on the way they pulled off this death. Everybody knows there was a death because it's on all the headlines. But when they said they went and approached the network about the death, they were like, oh, whoa, wait a minute. This is a little early in the season. Shouldn't this be the last episode? And they're like, no, because we're going to do this and this and this. And then they were upset the way they shot it. They were like, well, the death isn't a big dramatic scene. I mean, it is, but the way it's shot, you'll just have to see it if you haven't seen it yet. It isn't this big Shakespeare moment. It's just
very real.
Yeah, it's a very real moment. And the HBO was just like, come on, we really want to milk this. And it's like, nope.
I love how they did it. It was great. It's so crazy when it happens in the show. Like Katie and I were coming up with everything that it could be, not what it was.
Yeah.
Because we're like, surely they're not doing this.
Yep.
And they did. And I love even the writers, like they had a code word for this situation. They called it Larry David. So they would say, okay, so today we're shooting so-and-so, Larry David. And had everybody kind of going, what is going on? So they really worked hard to keep it quiet. And man.
Yeah, it worked.
Such a good show. If you are not watching that show and you have HBO.
It's a great show to binge if you haven't watched it. It's very smart. It's an intelligent show, so you have to watch it and pay attention.
Yeah.
But it's
great
it's
acting.
Something else.
Yeah. I love that one of the characters who's involved in this, who will now really not be, I guess, said it was kind of a relief because you have to deal with the method acting of the guy who plays Kendall.
Yeah.
Everybody's pretty sick of that, but man, what a show. And then just a couple of oldies but goodies. We each went back and checked out again. You went back to a Marvel movie.
Iron Man. Lily hadn't seen that, so we watched that, and that movie still holds up. Still a great movie.
Did you like it?
Yes, very much so.
And they just added it to Netflix. I watched The Negotiator again.
Great movie.
Yeah, if you've never seen that movie, and I know a lot of people haven't, Samuel L. Jackson and a cast of character actors all through this thing that you're going to recognize. Paul Giamatti's in it, just tons of great actors. And it's still so fun to watch.
Yes, and the guy that we had him on the show before he passed away. He's from Sling Blade and, oh gosh, what's the name? What is his name? He was in Executive Decision, I think.
Oh, J.T. Walsh.
Yes.
I can't believe you went with Sling Blade first. Really?
Yeah, that's the only one I could think of.
Okay. A Few Good Men.
Yes.
I mean, great character actor.
Yes.
Yeah. No, super, super movie. So if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix right now. You can check that out.
And it's got a lot of funny moments in it, too. Get in here, Mr. Blackwell.
Oh, Paul Giamatti, who is not such a serious actor, but he was such a goof in that movie. He's kind of like the comic relief. It's great. Great movie. So speaking of movies, and we mentioned Air, which Ben Affleck directed, you know, he's, as an actor, I mean, I think he's an okay actor. But, I mean, early on, some of his stuff was...
Yeah, pretty weak.
But
bad choices.
As a director, the dude, for the most part, has really made some great films.
I think his one, and we'll have our rankings here in just a second, but I think his worst mistake was one movie he directed was when he was under his addiction troubles.
Yeah.
He went into rehab right out of it.
And it made for not a great movie. I mean, we watched it, and it was like, it's okay. But compared to he'd already set the table to be so great. Because when we went to see Gone Baby Gone, which is, I think, the first major motion picture he directed, I was like, well, I don't love him as an actor, but he can direct the hell out of a movie.
Yeah.
So we haven't talked about it, and we're going to see how they match up, our separate rankings of Ben Affleck's movies.
Tony, you go first.
Okay. All right, so the way we'll do this is I'll give my number 5, and then you give your number 5. So count it down from 5 up to 1. My number 5 is the one you were just referencing, Live by Night.
Same with me, Live by Night.
I think most people. Okay, so far we're in agreement. My number 4 is tricky because I haven't seen the movie yet, but based on what the other movies I've seen by him, I'm going to place it here. I'm going to place Air at number 4.
I am going with Gone Baby Gone here.
Okay. My number 3 is Gone Baby Gone.
My number 3 is Air.
Okay, so we flipped those. I'll bet our top 2 are going to match.
I believe so.
My number 2, and it's a movie I can watch over and over again, is The Town.
Yep.
Great film. If you've never seen it, awesome film.
Whose car are we taking? That's the only line that matters to me.
Everybody needs a friend like that.
Yep.
And our number 1 is clearly going to match Argo.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic movie. This is another one I can watch over and over again. He just did such a brilliant job. And while it is based on a true story, I won't ruin anything for you, but there are definitely moments in the film that they came back and said, it was nothing like that. It was super easy. We just, but it's great. Great movie.
A lot of tense.
And and stick around for afterwards because they'll show you comparison shots, the actual pictures or moments on video that they shot in the movie, and the care that he took with getting it to match up was incredible. All right, so there's our Ben episode. Go see those movies, except for Live by Night. You skip that one probably. On the subject of movies and celebrities, and we mentioned everybody needs a best friend like that. Character that plays that role is Jeremy Renner as the actor. And how great is it to see? Have you seen he's up and around? He walked the red carpet at the premiere of his new show for Disney Plus.
Yeah, doing interviews.
It's crazy. I know that the other day they released some shots from when the accident happened, and you see those pictures. It's like, how did this guy live? It's crazy just how the ground looked around the accident.
Yeah.
But he had a cane, but he walked it. He's feeling great and doing his thing, and I just think that's fantastic. So continued success and health for him. And then another quick note about someone else who seems to be on the mend. Amanda Bynes, who we talked about, she got put on a 5150 hold after that incident in Los Angeles. She's off of that and out and about. And my guess is, I don't know, I haven't heard, but I would assume that she's going to be continuing to seek help.
Yeah.
Since she knew enough in that moment to get help, that she will continue down the road to hopefully medicating and regulating whatever those meds are to be better.
Hopefully.
But we wish the best for her. Another quick celebrity note, Taylor Swift. The Split.
Oh, my goodness. Now, in the old days, we would have expected an angry album at any moment.
Any moment.
But there's now speculation. They've been broke up for months, and she wanted to leak it during the tour so that it would...
Always the business person.
Get some energy going for the tour. And we know Taylor. We've known her for a long time, and she is a brilliant business person. So I would not put that past her.
Not at all.
At all. The other rumor that's floating around is that she was blindsided by the leak of her being broke up, because apparently they've been broke up for months and no one's said anything about it, and that she found out that the leak came from inside her camp, and she is on a hunt to find out who betrayed her. Because when I say secretive and controlling the narrative, one of her albums, I can't remember which one it was, we had to go in and listen to it, and she was there and we talked to her and everything, and they're like, okay, now listen to the album before you talk to her. They set us down in a room with a person staring at us. Like, I mean, we've been at places before where they're like, go in there and listen to a little bit of the album, come out, tell us what you think, and then we'll do the interview. They literally had someone stand there and stare at us to make sure we weren't recording it, sending messages about it, and nothing.
It was wild. I'd never had a situation like that before where it's like, enjoy the music, but don't enjoy it too much. It's
yeah.
Like, God, this is nerve-wracking. She was great.
Yeah.
But the people were definitely, they were clamping down. But anyway, we'll wish them well. I mean, she's still young.
Yeah.
I mean, she got her whole life ahead of her.
And let me tell you, we tell all the male artists, I say the same to her, like, don't get married until you're really ready to settle down. Really ready to settle down.
And it's got to be so difficult for anyone in her position, dude or girl, because you're one of the richest people in the world. You're so successful and huge. I mean, how do I know
and
this
a strong
person?
woman.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people can't handle that.
Yeah, so a lot of hurdles that you have to kind of get past to find somebody and make sure they're really in it for love. 6 years, you assume these guys were in it for real, but we wish them well. Now, on the flip side of that, let's talk about some Stranger Things news. One of the things is a real life story. Millie Bobby Brown apparently engaged.
Yep, she's living on a prayer. See what I did?
Well, she's living on a prayer son.
Yes.
Or living on a son's prayer. Yeah, John Bon Jovi's kid, Jake. And he's only 20. She's just 19. So it's, it's young. And obviously the internet, kind of blew up when this thing came out. A lot of people talking about them being too young, but that's not really for us to say. We see a lot of people who got married very young and were married for 50, 60, 70, 80 years. You never know. If it was my daughter, I would be like, I wouldn't say don't do it. It's none of my business, but I definitely would say, okay.
Marriage can be bad medicine sometimes. See what I did?
Boy, how many more of these are we going to? I mean, I guess if she doesn't like it, she can always run away.
You never say goodbye. I can keep going.
Please don't.
Okay.
Anyway, wish them well. No word on when the nuptials will happen. They just announced the engagement a couple of days ago. So.
I'm glad they get married, not living in sin.
Okay, just needed a second there. The other piece of Stranger Things news, and this is actual show news. Have you heard? They're going to be giving us an animated series.
Now tell me about this. What is this? Is it going to be those same characters?
I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
So according to what we have seen here, and what you may have seen as well, thank you interwebs for having all this information. It's a new animated series. It's set within the Duffer Brothers Stranger Things universe, and Netflix announced this just earlier this week that it would be coming. Matt and Ross Duffer, who created the whole thing, their involvement, don't know, but they're very excited about this thing. They said, we've always dreamed of an animated Stranger Things in the vein of the Saturday morning cartoons that we grew up loving, and to see this dream realized has been absolutely thrilling.
Well, that means if they're trying to go in that vein, that means the Harlem Globetrotters will be making an appearance.
I certainly hope so. They say they couldn't be more blown away by what the team have come up with, the scripts, the artwork. They can't wait to share more. In their words, the adventure continues. They've done this. I guess it's going to be, what they say, the latest medium change for the hit Netflix series, which announced last month that the stage play, Stranger Things, The First Shadow, will make its debut in London later this year.
Wow.
I think I missed that story. I didn't realize they were doing
that either.
A stage play. And then this one, we'll see what happens with this. Of course, and this is all leading up to the final season of Stranger Things, which will happen sometime in 2024, rather.
We'll see.
I like the idea. This show is so great at capturing that nostalgia of the 80s that I think it makes total sense to do an animated series. I mean, remember when they did the Star Trek animated series?
Mm-hmm.
I watched that.
Dukes of Hazzard, Mr. T, and Hulk Hogan had a Saturday show.
Varying levels of success, but these guys certainly know what they're doing.
Yes.
So if they can put the stories together and it sounds like it's going to be the same.
And if it reminds you of the 80s, why not?
I'll eat my donuts and drink my milk like I used to do when I watched my cartoons in the 80s.
You get the donut cereal. What was that? Remember that? It was like donuts basically as cereal. And you talk about a healthy breakfast for the kids.
Yeah. Well, see, I'm old enough that I remember when Cookie Crisp came out. And I was like, who are they kidding? And my mom bought them for me. I was like, I'm eating a bowl of chocolate chip cookies for breakfast. This is fantastic. We wonder why we have an obesity problem in this country. It's only gotten worse since then.
Couple of missteps.
Yeah, we may have made one or two mistakes. So no word on when this is going to premiere or exactly when it's coming, but keep your ear to the ground and your eye on the internet, and we'll have that information for you too as soon as we hear it. Are we ready for our top 5 memes of the week?
Let's roll them.
Here we go. So our usual disclaimer here, these are not necessarily brand new. They're just the things we came across
that made us laugh
scrolling around this week. And I'm sure you've seen this one, but I love it. Tom Brady and Tony Dungy look like they poisoned your food and are waiting for you to eat it.
Yes. I mean, that is some creepy faces.
The combination of the face and the lighting, it's just terrifying.
Yeah.
Number 4, and this one's for all the parents. And if you've had a challenging time trying to grasp your kids' homework, when your child's school recommends special education, but you've been doing all their homework. That's tough.
That would happen to me if I helped Lily. Lily, unfortunately, has to help me with everything.
Love this one. I can finally say I have a body like Rambo.
Yeah.
Sylvester.
Which, by the way, to say, leave it on a good note, because I love Sylvester. Rhinestone 2, still possible. And also Tulsa King is really good.
Maybe we'll get a Rhinestone animated series.
Now we're cooking.
Follow along with that. Some Dolly Parton could be a part of. Next up, and if you are, speaking of a child of the 80s, when your parents took you to Sears for pictures in the 80s.
That's as if they filmed Honey, I Shrunk the Kids in a trailer park.
I love that picture. Okay, and our number 1 since tax day is just a couple of days away. This is pretty good. These scams are getting more and more complex. Nearly fell for this one. Take a look below. Hello, I am the IRS. Mistake number 1.
When you're getting direct texted by Mr. IRS.
You need to pay me $1,500 in Walmart gift cards or you will be placed under the rest. Not under arrest, under the rest.
Yes.
I'm going to put a giant pile of people on top of you.
That'll get you.
You know, give me my Walmart gift cards.
Well, we hope you get a refund, and we hope you like and subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends.
Please do. Please help us continue to get the word out. The channel's still growing, and we really appreciate your help with that. Keep an eye out on social media for all kinds of other new content, and a special guest coming up in just a couple of days. Going back to 90s country again.
Yes.
Looking forward to this one. She's a lovely lady and very talented, so make sure you check that show out as well. Thanks for watching.